Pocket FM.
To unlock all the episodes, click the link in bio.
We have a live nightmare infestation. Code Black. Use lethal force.
Through the chaos, I walked straight toward the police station. No weapon, no armor. Just a black mark coiled around my forearm like a brand of evil. And a shaking iPhone with a photo of my dead mother. Want to know the secret? I was on the verge of losing it. And the police knew it. I knew they'd lock me up. Not because I killed anyone or anything, but because I could. So I made the only choice I had left. I turned myself in.
You're infected.
The sergeant's voice carried a mix of fear and respect. I nodded. I came down with it a week ago. I heard the longer you wait to sleep, the better your chance of survival. The sergeant knew that once I fell asleep, I would be sucked into the nightmare realm. If I survived, I'd return with unspeakable powers. Awakened. But if I died there, my body would be replaced by a vicious nightmare monster. And most people died there. Voluntary surrender was the most heroic thing I could do. The sergeant studied my pale face.
We'll get a court-appointed awakened to give you some tips before you go under. In the meantime, you want to talk to a priest? Might give you some hope.
I stared at my phone's wallpaper. The last photo I'd taken of my mother. I already have something I believe in.
Thanks for doing your part for humanity, kid.
He threw me into the holding cell, and its door slammed shut behind me.
Fresh meat.
There were a dozen other men in the cell, but I immediately noticed one man, out cold, sleeping on a bench in the corner, another nightmare spell victim. He looked peaceful, but I knew he was fighting for his life in the nightmare realm. Soon, that would be me. I dropped onto an empty spot on the bench, my legs finally giving out.
Hey, they call me Marcus, and you're in my spot.
The voice was low, dangerous. I looked up to see a mountain of a man looming over me. Sorry, I didn't know. I started to stand, but Marcus grabbed my collar and yanked me up.
Empty your pockets. Now.
I don't have anything.
What's this shiny thing then? Holding out on me?
He snatched the phone and hit play on the old voicemail I'd been listening to on repeat.
My sunshine, you can achieve whatever you put your mind to. Don't let the world beat you down. Never give up. Your mother loves you.
Marcus burst out laughing. Give it back, I snarled, snatching back the phone. His eyes dropped to my nightmare mark. Flames danced around his knuckles. He was an awakened, with supernatural powers.
Oh, the little mama's boy thinks he can survive his trial and become awakened like me. You won't last 5 seconds in there.
I edged away. My mother's last words echoed in my mind.
Promise me, Sonny. Promise me you'll survive and come back more powerful. I know you. You don't realize how strong you are.
I knew it seemed impossible, but her faith gave me hope. Maybe I had a chance. Maybe I was stronger than I thought. I said shut up about my mother. Marcus slammed me against the bars and leaned in close.
How about I give you a painful death out here instead?
I stared him in the eye. Another bully. Another beating. Another reminder that I'd been kicked around my whole life. But I knew the nightmare realm gave me a sliver of a chance to gain power and finally stop being helpless. My eyes widened as Marcus's flaming fist pulled back, ready to strike. Whoosh! A burst of wind hurling Marcus across the room like a rag doll. He crashed into the wall with a sickening crunch. A gorgeous, uniformed woman with silver hair and a bored expression stood outside the cell.
Which one of you is sunless?
It's Sunny.
Follow me.
I stumbled after her into the hall, leaving Marcus fuming behind me. My eyes were growing heavy. The shadows on the walls flickered like they were trying to form shapes. Faces, maybe. Or soldiers kneeling. But the image vanished before I could make it out. Master Jet walked me down the hall of the holding cells.
I'm Master Jet, level 5 awakened. I'm here to prepare you for your trial.
She gave me the side eye as I jogged in place, trying to stay awake.
You close to going under, or do you just need to potty?
What the hell is going on? I was just about to respond to her when I noticed the weirdest thing. The police station's walls began peeling back like paint. I watched in horror as the floor beneath me crumbled, revealing an abyss filled with churning shadows. Mountains erupted from the ground, piercing the sky before crumbling to dust in seconds. No, it's happening. Not yet. Not now. Skeletons rose from the earth, their bones assembling into warriors before collapsing into dust, only to rise again in an endless cycle. The sun and moon chased each other across a sky that fractured like broken glass. Was this the nightmare realm?
Wait, you're the one doing this?
An avalanche of stone and bone rushed toward us from the collapsing mountains. Master Jet turned to look at me. Then she slapped me hard across the face. Reality reasserted itself with a violent snap. The walls were solid again. The floor was just concrete. For a second, I wasn't sure which world I was in. My vision shimmered. The shadows didn't leave. They just hid behind the corners, watching.
You back with me?
But she didn't look relieved. She looked like she'd seen a ghost. What the hell just happened?
There's only one other person who ever warped reality like this. He tore a hole through the nightmare realm so big the real world bled into it. We still haven't closed it.
What?
Your affinity to the nightmare realm is strong. You're literally warping the dimensional fabric around you.
What does that mean? Master Jet dragged me into an empty cell, her grip iron strong on my arm. Fear flickered behind her eyes.
How long have you been fighting to stay awake?
A week.
Impossible. The record is 3 days max. Every second you fight against sleep should feel like carrying an elephant on your head. Where the hell did you find that sort of willpower?
My mother always said I was special, that I was stronger than I knew. She died 3 years ago. She failed her nightmare trial. Something shifted in Master Jet's expression. The fear was replaced by respect.
Willpower is a great sign of an awakened's future strength. The longer you resist the spell, the better shot you have. Your mom is right. I don't know what kind of power you might have in the nightmare realm, but you're no everyday sleeper. That's for damn sure.
Her words fanned the embers of hope in my chest. Could I really be strong in the nightmare realm? Maybe even come back awakened? Suddenly, a scream shattered the moment. The man who'd been sleeping peacefully in the corner of the mass holding cell was thrashing violently. Inhuman sounds poured from his throat. My stomach lurched the same way it had in the hallway. Not again. The world warped again. I found myself standing on a flaming hillside beside Master Jet. The sky burned crimson above us, raining ash like snow. In the distance, the same man from the cell ran desperately through the burning landscape, his clothes smoldering as he stumbled over charred earth.
Get away from me!
Behind him, a pale, ghastly creature moved with predatory grace. The creature had bloody swords in place of arms. The creature leapt the distance between itself and the fleeing man and pinned him to the ground with his swords. I gasped. Suddenly, the monster perked up at the sound of my voice. My heart dropped as it turned toward us. Its blade arms gleamed like mirrors, reflecting our terrified faces back at us.
Damn it.
Master Jet cocked back her hand to deliver another slap to wake me up. But before she could strike, an alarm screamed in the precinct, pulling us out of the vision.
Code black. Code black.
Screams erupted from the adjacent cell. Officers converged on the cell with raised guns. Through the bars, I could see green fire and a prism of light spewing out of the sleeping man's body.
Nightmare creature! Every man for himself!
I watched, petrified as the man's arms bubbled and morphed into swords, his limbs extending grotesquely. The transformation completed with a wet, tearing sound. The same exact sword arm creature I'd seen in the vision jerked upright in his place like a marionette on strings.
Open fire!
Bullets filled the air, striking the monster harmlessly. One ricocheted and punched into my shoulder, spinning me around. Pain exploded through my arm. The creature swung its sword arms, shearing through cell bars like paper. Officers screamed as razor-sharp metal found flesh.
Get to the mass holding cell. The door there is reinforced.
The creature's eyes locked onto me. It took a deliberate step toward me, ignoring the officers firing at it. Why is it coming at me?
It must be sensing your affinity. Move.
Master Jet blew me back with a wind blast, already turning to engage the monster. I sprinted down the wrong corridor, going deeper into the station. The nightmare monster was right behind me. My legs felt like lead, exhaustion weighing down every step. The bullet wound throbbed. But there was something else. A sound beneath the chaos. Chanting. Soft at first, but growing louder. And it sounded like it was coming from somewhere within my body. What the hell? I stumbled, catching myself on a desk. In the bullpen, I spotted an officer's hat behind a desk. I rushed over and grabbed him, but the officer slumped sideways, revealing the bullet hole in his forehead. Dead. My hands shook violently as I picked up his service weapon. The monster's roar echoed through the building. I could feel it hunting me, marking my scent. The chanting intensified. Words in a language I didn't recognize but somehow understood. They spoke of shadows and promises, of power and sacrifice. At the same time, I felt sleep overtaking me. My vision was growing dark at the edges. I heard the nightmare creature racing toward the room. I realized if I fell asleep now, the monster would tear my sleeping body to pieces. Stay awake. Stay awake! I dashed into the break room and spotted Salvation, a full pot of coffee. I grabbed it and chugged the bitter liquid straight from the carafe. It burned going down, but I didn't care. Then I saw the label. Decaf. No, no, no! The monster roared through the doorway. I whirled around, backed up against the wall. The world kept flickering around me. Sleep was closing in. The mysterious chanting was deafening now, drowning out even my thoughts. Just then, Master Jet came flying through the wall in an explosion of drywall. She groaned, struggling to her feet. She pushed me aside just as sword arms sliced through the air where my head had been.
You won't survive in there if you die out here. Now run. That way.
I dove through the hole in the wall, my body barely responding. Reality began to ripple around me. My vision was beginning to tunnel. Just a few more steps. The holding cells were right there. Salvation. All I had to do was lock myself in. I grabbed the bars, then I screamed with pain. My palms were red and blistering. The bars glowed red hot. Marcus grinned through the metal, his hands blazing with fire. He had used his powers to heat up the bars to stop me.
Guess you won't die in the nightmare after all. But at least I get a front row seat.
I was blacking out. I couldn't stay awake. I turned to see the nightmare creature rounding the corner, its blades swishing the air. I wanted to run, but my legs were concrete. My brain was cotton. This shouldn't be how it ended. Not without keeping my promise to my mom. With trembling fingers, I pulled out my phone. The screen was cracked, but still working. I needed to hear her voice one last time. My mother's recorded voice began to fill the corridor. You can achieve whatever you put your mind to. Don't let the world beat you down. But to my horror, Marcus snatched the phone through the bars and smashed it against the concrete floor with all his strength. The screen shattered. The voice cut off mid-sentence.
No happy endings for losers.
I stared at the shattered phone. Rage flooded through me. Pure, volcanic fury mixed with loss and contempt. The chanting became deafening until it seemed to envelop my very soul. The shadows in the hallway lengthened, reaching toward me. Reality shifted one final time. The precinct's ceiling peeled back. A sea of cherry blossom trees floated above me in a void of pitch blackness. Shadows rose from the ground in the shape of bodies clad in armor. They chanted loudly as they bowed before a man standing above them. He had my face, older, scarred, but mine all the same. Our eyes met across the impossible space. You made her a promise. Keep it. He snapped his fingers and the shadows shot toward me. I blinked and found myself back in the precinct. The monster loomed before me, blade arms raised for the killing strike. Suddenly, a river of shadow figures seemed to flow out of the vision, wrenching open the holding cell and flunging Marcus out. I could barely understand what was going on. Marcus scrambled to his feet, backing away in terror from the sword-armed monster. He was cornered.
What did you do, you freak? What did you do?
I didn't wait to see what happened. I dove into the holding cell, grabbing the broken phone pieces as I went. The reinforced door slammed shut behind me. I stood there in the darkness, trembling as the creature lunged at Marcus. I had manifested a shadow power while still human. Impossible, terrifying, exhilarating. But more than that, I had seen myself in the nightmare realm. Powerful, alive. My mother had been right. I made her a promise. Sleep crashed over me like a black wave as the nightmare realm erupted around me. But this time, I didn't fight it. My trial in the nightmare realm was about to begin, and only then would I know if I could keep this promise.
Click the link now to keep listening. Everything is happening at once. Sonny collapsed into unconsciousness just as the nightmare creature's blades descended and the shadows erupted from within him, his mother's broken promise echoing in his mind. What'll happen next? Can he survive the mysterious nightmare trial that killed his own mother? Who was that scarred version of himself commanding an army of shadows? What terrible price will his newfound power demand? Find out in the next episode of Shadow Slave. Click on the Install Now button below the video. Select and click Install. Then click Open and enjoy free episodes of Shadow Slave. Start listening now.
Pocket FM.
To unlock all the episodes, click the link in bio.